Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Joanne Smedley, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Wing Commander Steve Wiedemann. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing of the national anthem.
Australians all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's plate let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Eric Abbott was born to Private Eric Arthur Abbott. Eric Abbott was born on the 24th of September 1918 in Summerhill, New South Wales, the son of teacher William Abbott and his wife Constance. Growing up alongside two sisters, Edna and Beryl, the family home was not a happy one. In 1935, Eric's parents separated and Eric remained with his mother. Eric Abbott was living in the Sydney suburb of Randwick and working as a pastry cook when he enlisted with East Command and the Army Service Corps in 1940. He served for some months as a driver with the 106 Reserve Motor Transport Company until leaving to enlist with the 2nd Australian Imperial Force on the 28th of July 1941. Posted to the General Base Depot, Abbott embarked from Sydney aboard the transport ship Surabaya on the 17th of September, arriving in Singapore in early October and working as a driver. After Japan's entry into the war in December 1941, the 8th Division was engaged in defending the Malayan Peninsula. On the 14th of February 1942, Commonwealth forces in Malaya were forced to surrender, and Private Abbott was among the 45,000 British and Australian troops who became prisoners of war. He was initially held at Changi Prisoner of War Camp, but the Japanese soon called for working parties to build and expand new infrastructure across their empire. In July, Abbott volunteered with B Force, which left for Borneo in July 1942. The men had been assured of better food and conditions, but the almost 1,500 members of B Force found themselves on a hellish journey at sea, crammed into the cargo holds of the Ubomara for 11 days before arriving at Sandakan. Conditions at Sandakan soon developed into some of the worst experienced by the prisoners of the Japanese. Prisoners, including the sick, were forced at gunpoint to work on the construction of a military airstrip and were often beaten by their captors. Illness and death ravaged the camp, and food was scarce. 6 months after arriving in Borneo, Private Eric Abbott developed cerebritis, a brain inflammation caused by a bacterial infection or other disease, and he died on the 21st of January 1943. Abbott was dearly missed by his mother and sisters, who placed in memoriam notices in newspapers for years after his death. His body was later recovered from Sandakan and he is buried at the LeBron War Cemetery under the inscription, "His duty nobly done." Private Eric Arthur Abbott's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. This is but one of many stories of sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Eric Arthur Abbott, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening.